Welcome back, everybody. We are out of the Swiss rounds now. 8 teams remain, and we move on to the knockout bracket here in the NorQuest Esports Series. Valorant Champions Division. 8 teams still have a chance to get a cut of the 5,000 Canadian dollar prize pool. Once again, it's myself, Possible, alongside Dryad. And we got one more match for you folks today. It's going to be a best of 3 in our quarterfinals.
And like you said, yeah, it is getting more and more exciting as we get into those grand finals that are going to happen tomorrow. But today, only one match, and there's no one else than two teams. We got Night Raid and the Big Baller brand going against each other. And also, yeah, so more than one map is going to be needed.
Oh, yeah. And I'm excited. I was hoping Big Baller brand is the one team I was really hoping to see because it's been so long since I got to cast Sugar Free and Ezire, two ex-Overwatch players who have been trying to make a name for themselves in Valorant. I'm stoked. Sugar Free has had my heart since I entered esports, has always been a crazy player, so I'm excited to see what he can bring. Obviously, Night Raid, they've made it here too. They're not going to be slouches, so this should be a really good match. It's our 4th and our 5th seeds coming into the knockout bracket, so on paper, this should be the closest match.
Yeah, it should be really close, just like most of the other matches that we've seen today and all the other matches also happening off stream. But now, yeah, it is more than one map needed. It is getting closer. Everyone is trying to fight to at least guarantee that first map. And we were talking about it, the 3 possible maps that we will be seeing is Ascent, Split, and Haven. So not really any surprises here.
Yeah, no, pretty tame, all things considered. Very bread and butter kinds of maps for Valorant. I mean, the only way it would be more tame is if we had Bind instead of Split, right? I guess, technically, Bind is more common than Split, but, I mean, Split's one of the oldest maps in the game, too, so
Yeah.
very standard. We don't get any Breezes or Icebox, much to my chagrin, but regardless, it's going to be an awesome best of 3 series, and all the series we have from now on are going to be best of 3s today and tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm stoked. This is gonna be an awesome match.
Yeah, and you were talking about Sugar Free too. This player, I mean, we just have to highlight it because he's been so amazing across so many different games. And from the minute that he swapped into playing Valorant, he was insane. He was already insane, doing really good with his teams, and so there's a lot of expectation to see how far this team can go on the bracket and on this playoffs.
And I'm looking to see how the rest of Big Baller brand maybe play around Sugar Free, because if I'm not mistaken, he's generally on those more so duelist roles, right? You know, things like the Reyna, things like the Phoenix. I think he's been picking up Skye recently, but Skye is also, you know, not a duelist technically, but a lot of players play her like a duelist where you just flash in for yourself and then get that swing going. But either way, this is going to be a great match. I believe we're going to head on into Haven in just a second, just waiting for the teams to make sure they are all prepped and ready. We want to make sure everyone's getting off with solid footing when we head into our quarterfinals.
Yeah, everyone really needs to be ready, like we talked about. They've had a long day of Valorant. They've had a long day of matches to play. And so they have those 30 minutes to reset that mentality. They're very little tired. Now they got some food. They got some water. They're ideally ready to go into this map.
And we're going to be getting on... We're going to be getting in just a second. I promise I can speak English. It's the one thing they pay me for, Dryad. You think that I would be able to do it. First language and everything, but I'm still struggling with it. Do want to give a quick shout out, of course, to some of our amazing sponsors. We have a slew of them today, but shout out to Alberta Innovates, ESIO, ATB, and Calgary Economic Development. We couldn't do this without them or any of our other phenomenal sponsors.
Yeah, we have so many sponsors to talk about. There's also Memory Express, that they are Canada's premier destination for computer products since 1996. Now with 14 stores across Canada, they're ready to serve you in-store and online, so check them out at memoryexpress.com.
Very well. You speak English better than I do, right? Isn't it your
work
second language?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. Fair enough. Well, English is fun anyways. We're going to be getting in on just a second here. Let's talk about the maps, shall we? While we are waiting for these players to make sure that they are ready. Because Haven, Ascent, and Split, like we said, they're kind of bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, Split is going to be where most of the concern happens, but I'm pretty sure that Big Baller Brand, they've got to be happy that Haven is the first map here because technically it was Night Raid's pick after we went through all of the bans. And in the last month, they have a 73% win rate on Haven. They've played it 11 times and won 8 of them. So that's got to be feeling good. Big Baller Brand, they've got to be pretty happy that they get to start off on a strong note on their opponent's map pick, nonetheless.
Yeah, and it's also a map where we already saw it today, and it's a map where you see a lot of those very standard agents coming through. Is that Jed? It is going to be also that Soba more than anything, and then it can vary a little bit more in the other agents left. But more than anything in Haven, you're going to need that information. You can have at least those 2 agents secure. Then everything else. I mean, we talked about it. Sometimes we see Sage, sometimes we see a Breach, like we saw in that last game. Sometimes a Viper. I mean, anything that the teams want to bring. I don't think we're gonna see anything crazy when it comes to the duelists. I've seen a lot of teams maybe trying to bring that triple duelist, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's very, very risky unless your team is just extremely aggressive. It can work out, and I love teams playing aggressive, but if the other team is able to catch up to your speed, then it is not going to be the best time.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see any triple duelists here. That'd be fun. It'd certainly be fun to see some Team Liquid style. You know, they were doing that on Split this week in VCT, but I don't think that is very likely. I do kind of want to break down. I'm just going in VLR at this point. Not entirely sure what the holdup is, guys, but we're gonna get this match started quick. Don't worry about it. And in VLR, apparently, rumor has it, and by rumor I mean statistics, on Haven, there's actually been quite a bit of KO played recently by Big Baller Brand, which Haven doesn't strike me as the most opportune map for KO, but there are some areas where it can work, and since the sites are a lot smaller, I imagine if you could get the lineups right, the 0 point would be pretty strong for like a retake.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. It seems like because this agent is very, very new, people are still trying to figure out what the best maps are going to be. But I think Haven is going to be absolutely a possibility. I've seen a decent amount of cannons being played on this map, and maybe in A, like you said, on that retake 2, working out so well. I mean, even if you're holding your defense, even if you're holding your corners, not being able to use any abilities to initiate those fights, not being able to use those flashes, it's really going to affect the defense. So that's when you can highlight a little bit more of this agent.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. And we don't mean to just talk about Big Baller Brand. That's gonna mess me up so many times today, Ryad. I'm letting you know now. I'm gonna say that name wrong so many times. But we don't mean to just talk about them. The fact of the matter is, though, there is a lot less information available on Night Raid. I was trying to look for stuff when, leading up to this week when I saw Night Raid was going to be in. Pretty much the only thing I could find is that at the beginning of the month, they got 2-0'd by Dark Zero, which doesn't really give me a lot of information. Dark Zero is a pretty good team. Night Raid could honestly come out here and be almost any level of skill shy of, Sentinels level or something crazy, right? So it is a very much an unknown quantity coming in and playing against Big Baller Brand.
And they can use that to their benefit as well. I mean, their matches for this tournament, they haven't been streamed, and they can just keep maybe their secrets on the way that they like to play to themselves until this moment when it gets a little bit more difficult. But also, I mean, there's so many different playstyles that teams might be able to prepare for a match if they know they're going to sign up to a tournament. Sure. They might have different strategies and being able to counter a little bit more of the enemy. So they can definitely play that to their advantage. I'm also very curious to see that because, yeah, we have 2 maps and at least 2 maps that can play very differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is pretty difficult to prep specifically for certain opponents for at least this first day, right? I mean, there were 20 teams entering today in NorQuest. It's hard to assume which ones you're going to play, except maybe some of the top teams, like, the 303 Esports and the like. So I'm not too confident that Night Raid have a huge information advantage on Big Baller Brand. Maybe going into tomorrow, we can see some unique preps from some of these teams. As then, it'll be narrowed down to 4. They'll know who they're playing. And you know what? While we're still just waiting, let's take a look at some of the rest of the bracket, right? Because I think we have some very interesting matches here.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously we have this match between Big Baller Brand and Night Raid. Our first place and 8th place, DNA Diff and Black Frost Gaming respectively. I think that's going to be a pretty interesting one. DNA Diff coming out on top, but again, nobody was undefeated. And Black Frost, they showed us an absolute stomping earlier when we saw them. So I think that's going to be an interesting map.
And I like that no one was undefeated. Someone took one of the losses at some point. That makes it even more competitive because you're not, the teams don't feel that pressure to a specific team. But there it is, finally jumping into Haven teams. We're taking some time, but finally they're ready to go in. And yeah, already just pretty much everything that we talked about, just locking that Jet, looking that Soba for one of the side of the defense out waiting on the other side.
Well, it seems like in the last week or so, Big Baller Brand have changed their style. They are no longer employing the KO, so throw everything out the window, what I was saying earlier. Not going to be seeing KO today on Haven. Instead, it'll be a pretty reasonable comp, a very information-heavy one at that for Big Baller Brand. They've got the Sova, the Cypher, and the Sky, so they're going to have a lot of info, which is pretty valuable here on Haven.
And it is really the best thing that you can do, especially when you're going to play in the defense. You want to have, if the enemy team is going to push, if the attackers are going to push into C and to A, you want to be able to communicate with your team as soon as possible once you get that information. So I really like the strategy coming through so far for the side of Big Baller Brand, but it's a matter of what are they going to do with that information after they get it.
That is always the question, right? You can know where your opponent is, but if you can't shoot him and you can't do anything with it, well, then that doesn't really accomplish much, does it? Either way, I think I do like the Sky pick better in the modern day than the Phoenix, just by a tad, right? It's not that one is objectively better than the other, but I personally like what Sky gives you in terms of agency, and I think it allows Big Baller Brand a little bit more across the map, whereas Royce is going to have to be more so with the team, setting him up, hard entrying, rather than playing for different potential styles.
Yeah, it's just all about that utility that Sky has and makes her so strong. It's so fun to see, especially with the play style that the teams like to bring when they're playing all together, when they're playing closer to each other. So being able to provide those heals is something that Night Raid already doesn't really have.
Here we go. The gates are open, and Night Raid is already on to C. We've seen so many pistol round hard executes on to C on Haven today. Night Raid are going to keep that trend going. Ooh, already Izar hits the floor, but Sugar Free will trade that one out. And Big Baller Brand, they are wasting no time coming in for this retake. Sugar Free's going to hide a little bit, waiting for Welshi to come around from the back, but doesn't have a good angle onto anyone. And now Night Raid, you have to imagine they expect that the long flank could be a possibility. Yeah, they're going to heal Welshi now. Very difficult situation for this Omen. I mean, the second he walks out of this choke, he's going to get hit. Tagged by the dart, too. That means he has to fall off once again. Smoke available and everything. There's just not a chance for him to clutch that round. And Night Raid start off strong.
And it is not really much that you can do, especially in that pistol round. You either have to be with your team or you're going to have a nightmare trying to retake by yourself, especially with 3 of the enemy team remaining. And in the meantime, Night Raid being able to get that pistol round, looking a little better. And they're going to force with those vectors.
Yep, buying up. The anti-eco coming out strong for Night Raid. No surprises there. Question is more so, can Big Baller Brand do anything to upset the economy here? How many guns can they take away? How strong of a bonus will Night Raid get going on to the next? Another hard-hitting execute here. Gonna have to pay attention to this tempo as we go on throughout Haven, because Night Raid, because they start off so fast in these early rounds, they have a lot of tactical options later on. It's a little bit expensive here for Night Raid. They lose a couple, but they also didn't buy everyone in. I believe 1 player or 2 maybe had ghosts, so they still get away with this pretty economically fine, and they'll have a strong bonus.
Yeah, Night Raid also just playing this very, very fast, knowing that the attackers are the ones going to have the advantage on where to take the fight, so they just don't waste any second. They go to A, they plant, they take everyone down in those positionings, and that big baller brand. I mean, now they're gonna miss a little bit better. They didn't really force, like you said.
Look at this though. Big Baller Brand think that Night Raid is ping-ponging. They think they're gonna come back to C in this round. So Big Baller Brand have stacked heavily towards C in that side of the map, but instead it's just another hard execute toward A. Ezire is the only one anywhere near this. His trapwires are going to get cleared. He's not going to get anything out of this. Even dies to the hot hands from Royce. Night Raid pulled one out from under Big Baller Brand, and now it's a 4v5 retake.
Scout destroyed.
And it was very risky from the beginning. Like you said, everyone just going C, thinking that is where they were going to go. Only one member, and now, yeah, Big Baller Brand now looking good.
On Instinct in such a rough spot now. Sugar Freeze made it out onto the site, and actually good on the cover. The cross and everything. Has to just check every single angle, though, and there's not much Sugar Free can do. Great round from Night Raid. It's not just a bonus. It's a complete shattering of their enemy team's economy.
Yeah, a couple more of those weapons that we can see for Night Raid. And it's a 3-0 so far. First time that we see today on stream that is not a 2-1 right at the beginning. So a little bit of a change there. The Big Baller Brand team that we were talking about, they are struggling. They're getting the kills, but it is just Night Raid on the attack. They are playing this so fast.
Look, and again, Big Baller Brand, they're so convinced that this C hit is coming on the map. Again, they've stacked it so heavily. Night Raid, they're just abusing A. Run it back. Carrying Royce out onto the site. And it's just him, though. He's still going to be able to get one, as, you know, they have a far superior economy. But he's drawn Sugar Free over. Reprive's got to be a little bit careful. Does have the spike in hand. Using that dash to get to the plant means he's not going to have it to get out of danger. Instinct finding one, but a lot more work needs to be done if Big Baller Brand are going to pull this off. Nice catch there. Instinct good for a second. Friends can just cover him. Some guns can be recovered as well. You gotta be watching your back, though. Look who's coming around, and Welshie, I don't think has any idea. Ooh, spot him now. Just has a Marshall in his hand, though. This is so difficult to actually win. Yeah, that was always gonna be tricky. Ahad will finish that off. And while it was costly for Night Raid, I mean, they've won 4 in a row at this point. Big Baller Brand not able to pull off the Thrifty.
The economy just looking better and better for this type of Night Raid. You're just playing so fast once again that it's like Big Baller Brand, they don't know what to do. They're not able to rotate in point, and they want to play for the retake. But by the time that they want to go into the retake, it's a little too late. They already lost a couple members, so it puts them in a very difficult situation. There's a couple ultimates available this time around. If they want to get some information for Big Baller Brand, those seekers are available.
Sugar Free's got the op now. So not going to be able to just hard send it toward A anymore. Night Raid, they have to consider other options, and they're finally slowing down the pace a bit. Respecting the fact that it is a gun versus gun round. And rounds like this can make or break a map. Second cage used there. Sugar Free is confident, though, that nobody's crossed, because look at all the utility in sewer placed there by Ezire. He's got a cam. He's got a trapwire. Sugar Free's not going to fall off that angle until he's forced to. Oh. Deprived. And with that being the sheriff, Big Baller Brand should know that there's a possibility that this is an operator.
No one's going to pick that corner, though. Everyone just playing carefully. I feel like this is a patient for Big Baller Brand, though.
Well, she's in such a dangerous spot. He's going to get flashed. Has to just spray and not able to clean anything up with that. A good smoke there prevented Instinct from trading him out. And Renz is spotted up on plat. Not able to find the shots. Forced to swing on out. This is starting to fall apart here for Big Baller Brand. Instinct will trade 1 for 1. And Ezire spamming through. Or at least catch another. But okay, Sugar Free. Finds the timing onto Reprive. But now is left alone. And Neural Theft's going to give away his position. Just going to charge forward desperately. Oh, but wasn't implanted in the spot that Sugar Free expected. We've just got the op. It's
One
the
enemy
first.
remaining.
Shorty at the ready, but no!
Ooh.
So Anthony swinging just a bit wider, avoids just enough of those shells. So he walks away with 19 HP.
Yeah, looking so close. Finally, this is the closest that we've seen a round happen for the Big Baller brand, but it was just not enough. And Night Raid, they keep getting ahead and they keep getting farther and farther from that zero the Big Baller brand has. They haven't been able to take a single round, and their economy is suffering from this.
Definitely a rough start here for Big Baller brand. Gonna try and play out toward mid a little bit, but there's nobody there to catch. Hard to imagine that Night Raid don't get onto C for basically free here. Maybe Renz can swing out the smoke and get one cheeky trade. Instinct gets one. Nice shot from him. Instinct's aim's been on point, but the problem is that Big Baller brand, they just don't have the positioning most of the time to make use of it.
Yeah, it's all about the positioning when Night Raid is going in. Big Baller brand, they either have to be ready or they're not. Good shot there, but a couple more to go for the Big Baller brand if they want to take that first round.
And I mean, there's so little chance
Yeah.
that they can actually flush Night Raid out of C long here. Sugar Free is going to recover a gun. Seems like they're going to try and go for at least a sneaky defuse. That tag on the op, though, that's so rough. These are so easy to spam down now. One stray bullet is all that is necessary. Sugar Free pushing, not going to get any eliminations. And that's 6-0 on the start for Night Raid.
And that is a pretty good way to start. I mean, it's all about Big Baller brand. They try to buy, they try to better their economy. They lose, they try it again and again. They're going to try to buy those guns, these phantoms, to see if this time around it can work. But Night Raid, it seems like they have a really, really good understanding of how Big Baller brand plays in that defense.
Looking to see some sort of swap up here from Big Baller brand. Nothing's been working thus far, so what are they going to try to throw off Night Raid? It's an aggressive play. They're out, and they've already gotten pop back. Royce falls too. This is going well. Aggression paying off here for Big Baller brand. They decided we have nothing left to lose. Let's just throw it all out middle. And starting off with 3 picks, that ain't half bad. They can hunt down these last 2 players too. And try to start denting the economy of Night Raid, but there's just so much money in their pockets, Dryad.
Oh, yeah, it's going to get that. We're just waiting. And Night Raid, only this jet remaining. But the operator is going to lose it, but Night Raid not really too worried about their economy. This is going to be the first round going for Big Baller brand. They were playing more aggressive, but here's the thing. This is something that you can predict so easily, especially when the defense is playing aggressive on mid, when you're pushing in. It's so easy to counter it, especially when Night Raid is able to get those operators, to get those phantoms to counter it. And it's going to be actually Big Baller brand. They're going to keep that operator, going to give it to Sugar Free.
Yeah, Sugar Free has wanted that op early. It's just been rough to actually have enough money, so stealing that away, very valuable. Oh, it's okay. Nobody saw that, Royce. Don't worry about it. Ooh! That was kind of a shot that Sugar Free needed to hit. These are just a little bit late there, too. Couldn't quite get that kill on a big pop back. That means he's going to clean up well. She's still going decently for Brand. Oh, and the collat from Sugar Free! Oh my. All right, Night Raid, they overplayed their hand toward B. Now it's just a hard left. Sugar Free knows. Look at him. He's watching A. Knows that the Cypher is going to be lurking through.
Oh.
Beautiful shot to close it out. And that's the second now in a row.
Finally being able to build that momentum for a Big Baller brand. And they just line up for Sugar Free to get that hit. Really good job with the operator. And it's been pretty much the same narrative for the matches that we've seen today in Haven. Also in the one that we saw before. It's just all about getting that momentum with the operator. Having that confidence on those angles. And this is something that Sugar Free is able to do this time around. Now getting to 9 kills. Trying to get a couple more for their team.
Oh. Trying to catch Sugar Free there. Sugar Free's down in sewer instead. Does get hit by the camera dart there, the spy cam dart, and has to retreat. Trap wire, though, saving Sugar Free's life, but only for a moment. There's no way for him to get out of that corner. Hod will eventually pin him down. Big Popak gets the information, too. Knows where Welshi and Ezire are standing. But it's still not easy for Night Raid to get in. The Seekers keeping them at bay as well. They're just going to hightail it across the map all the way to C, but they lose Royce on the way out.
My eyes
Oh, and now the jig is up. Oh, Neural Theft, too. That gives it away. Instinct's here. Instinct's at the ready. Gonna dodge that paranoia and everything. Waiting to see if someone else would swing out. Gonna find one. Can't get away from the op, though. Reprieve locking it down, and now it's all up to Ezire. And guess who's watching? Guess who's waiting? It's Soy Anthony.
revealing area.
Big Baller brand on the retake, not looking very good so far. They haven't been able to be successful at this before. Either do they get the enemy team before they planned, or they don't. And we're pretty far into this first half where Night Raid, they have a huge advantage already getting to those 7-round wins. Big Baller brand, they're trying to at least get to 5. This is the ideal situation for them, but Night Raid, they are playing this. They have a couple ultimates to work with. They're always playing ahead.
Already a Hunter's Fury invested here, too. It does get that one tag, but can you actually finish it off? Yes, Renz gets the kill. Sova eliminated now. And keep in mind, Night Raid, as far as information goes, it's mostly Sova that they're working off of. I mean, you can get a little bit out of your Cypher with the camera going forward, but not nearly as reliable as a Recon Dart or an Owl drone.
Yeah, 5v4, trying to make something happen. Another one getting taken down. One Omen takes the other. And with that Big Baller brand, they're just trying to get any sort of information again.
They're rushing in now. Instinct's waiting for the flash. He's trying to keep away from it, but no flash ever comes, and he just says, all right, well, I guess I'll shoot him then. I'll shoot all of them. 3 down. Instinct coming alive.
Instinct doing really good there. And it is the same scenario with Garage. Pushing this side without the flashes, without being able to use those flashes and play more aggressive with the rest of your team, becomes very difficult when they have those positionings from the defense. So exactly what happens for Big Baller brand. They're not worried. They get another one. Their economy definitely looking better. And for the first time, we actually see the shares coming through for Night Raid, so going for an eco round.
Yeah, that 6-round win streak. The money is finally worn off from that. Ooh, nice tag there. Oh, that's rough, buddy.
Rough.
Sugar Free, whiffing, and Reprieve nailing him in the head. Ezire's the only one locking this down now. It's an early rotate from Big Baller brand, though. They're already at A. And they're confident, too, that Night Raid are leaving. That's what they've done every other time. They haven't immediately been able to get onto the site. Night Raid are hightailing it towards C, but Big Baller brand are just waiting in the wings. Night Raid realize this. I'm going to slow this down. They have plenty of time. Still a minute left.
Yeah, still trying to make this work. Everyone from the defense playing it carefully. They're not really sure where the attackers are going to come from. It's going to be C, though.
Ooh. Instinct with the jump peek. Spots them coming up C. That paranoia, I think, goes wide, and the flashes are perfect. One blind, but, I mean, even though it's superior firepower for Big Baller brand, they gotta be careful. They're gonna nail these first few players pretty well. Reprieve does have that operator still in hand, though. Big Baller brand, they're just dancing around that op, taking these peaks. It's ambitious to be sure. 1 health now on Soy Anthony, and Reprieve hits another shot. Those Sheriff, man, those are insane. Not insane enough to take the round away, however. And that's now 4 for Big Baller brand.
Last round.
Exactly what they wanted. They wanted to get at least 5. This is their last opportunity in that first half to make it happen. But both of the teams are going to full buy last opportunity to do so. And with those ultimates already available for Night Raid, they should be taking the advantage here. They're going to have that Hunter's Fury. They can use it early on like we saw before. And also, more than anything, those blades coming through. The Blade Storm, always so fun to see it from Reprieve.
This is the last round of the half. No reason to wait. Ooh. Sugar is spotted. You can bet that Popback isn't gonna. Oh! Or he is! Okay. Alright, well. I just put my foot in my mouth, but. Alright, wow, things going really well here. Reprival claim 1, and Royce answers back 2, so suddenly it's a 3v3. And having only 3 defenders on a map like Haven makes this very tricky for Big Baller Brand. Run it back going into Garage here, and Royce has already claimed Renz. Oh, Sugar Free gonna shut that down, but has no info. Is so worried about people coming up from behind him. Izaya's gonna clean that up, though, and find the spike.
Oh, the 2v2 turned into a 2v1. This so bad, just trying to make something happen for this last round.
I mean, there's not really much that he can do here, though. Izaya's gonna clean that, but Sugar Free, watching the angle, knew where the dart was coming from. And ultimately, we end up 5-7. A decent recovery from Big Baller Brand, all things considered.
Yeah, really good recovery. And just in time, I mean, they didn't want Night Raid to get those 8 rounds. It was not going to look good, especially because most of them, I mean, look at that. They got them pretty much in a row. All those first rounds were going to Night Raid. I was a little bit concerned about Big Baller Brand, I'm not going to lie, especially because we talked about them so much at the beginning.
Doing all right now. We are switching sides. And I think I mean, we were talking a lot about Sugar Free because, you know, we know Sugar Free. Yeah. Instinct has been clobbering thus far. I have been loving this Sky play.
Yeah, and this is something that also it's you're either going to play the Phoenix or you're going to play the Sky. And so far, for this team, it has paid off so well for instead of Big Baller Brand. Able to make that comeback, able to get a couple of those wins again, and giving the team another chance. I mean, it seems like this team likes to play aggressive, especially on the attacking side. And when you have that Sky to support you with those flashes, with that utility, then it becomes an ideal situation to try to pass that score that Night Raid has.
We do have a pause here, folks. I believe it is a tech pause. As we don't have the big timeout coming up on our screens, I have to imagine somebody is having a little bit of computer problems, so hopefully we'll get that sorted lickety-split. Yep, there it goes. Timer's good. And we're getting underway with the second half here in our first map of the quarterfinals. Again to see. We're going to see again. Every single pistol round on Haven has just been a hard hit to see. Sugar Free's momentum is going to get stopped a bit with a Paranoia hitting Big Popback. He's not able to trade that out. Sugar Free rushing forward and taking him down regardless. And this is a site claimed pretty inexpensively here for Big Baller Brand. Well, she is going to fall actually with that spike in hand, but I doubt that it's going to slow the momentum at all. Sugar Free just blows him away.
With a 3K first round on the second half and looking really good, about to match that 7 score that Night Raid has. Big Baller Brand, like we talked about, it seems like they like to play aggressive, and that is definitely something that we saw on that pistol round. Now going to force a couple of the Spectres, one of them keeping that Ghost. I like the strategy. They want to guarantee that gun power.
Only makes sense to try and buy up. Get your anti-eco, get a second round. And Night Raid? I think you guys forgot about a site. There's 3 on this map. Oh boy, Izaya's in a rough spot though. Thankfully he only has a ghost. So when he dies here, he's not gonna give much over to Night Raid. That's a player down, but not really a gun recovered. So I still think Big Baller Brand are feeling all right. Not if they lose Instinct, though. That's a Spectre going on over, and he only traded out for 1. Suddenly, Night Raid have to be feeling a bit better. Ren's on a pretty tight angle here. If he doesn't get cleared, it's going to be great, but if he does, then we're in trouble. Okay, good Paranoia, at least. And great cross from Sugar Free. That dispenses any worries that I had. Sugar Free, another 3K. That's back-to-back. He's almost got a Blade Storm.
Yeah, really good distraction as well happening. The Soba being so close to the enemy team. And then in the meantime, it was Sugar Free getting those kills. Really good communication with that synergy happening for Big Brother Brand, who are finally making that comeback. Like we said, it was looking risky on that first half, but now they look better. They had the confidence. They're getting those kills first, and now they're able to buy a couple of those guns as well.
I mean, they've won 7 of the last 8 rounds, right? Big
Yeah.
Baller Brand, they've got to be feeling great. Night Raid, on the other hand, on their first gun round of their defensive half,
Time to hunt.
if for nothing else than morale, they got to get away cleanly here. Royce is spotted, but he's still able to get Sugar Free before Instinct trades him out.
Cage triggered.
Not the worst case scenario for Night Raid, all things considered, but they do have an op watching A2, deep into lobby and everything. Big Baller Brand, they're going to have to use one of those cyber cages to try and cross lobby here, or they're more than likely going to die to Reprieve here.
Pull cats.
Yeah, but that positioning is so good with the operator. You can just dash away if you get caught. They're just planning the best way to go in, a little bit about information before. Yep, they
Aldrone
know
does, yeah. Well, for a second, I thought it was just going to cross straight into sewer without looking, but Reprieve is there. He gets flashed again, comes back to try and get a shot. Won't quite land it onto Welshie. And Big Brother Brand, you know what they say? You know what? Okay. Nah, we'll just go back to C. It's fine. Not worried about it.
I like this. I mean, you don't want to deal with that
30
operator
seconds
coming
left.
through, and there's pretty much no one at C. Finally, they're rotating,
got
but
your
it's going to be a little late.
Big Popak in a very cheeky position. Now he's going to sneak out onto the site. Spotted, though. Izire takes him down. Keep in mind, this is guns for Night Raid only. It's still bonus for Big Baller Brand, so every pick they get like that is
Camera taken.
potentially a gun recovered. Now, Izire has better firepower, if I'm not mistaken. Hod's going to give himself away. There's the final flash coming through from Instinct. This is a difficult retake now. We're 3v4 here, Dryad. Oh, they're going for the save. They're saving.
Ooh. That is a hard decision to
Revealing
make,
area.
but it seems like they could have taken it.
I can respect it, though. Right? They
Yeah.
know they've given away a gun. They really just want to play for the following round. It's still a very tight game at 7-7. Losing one round now and still being able to play for a following gun round coming up, still having your operator in hand, I think this is the right call.
Yeah, with the operator especially. I think that's what makes the decision happen. You want to keep your operator. You can't really throw it and pick another gun. You don't have anything else on the way. So, yeah, a good decision to make. Not ideal, of course, they wanted to take that round, but playing for that retake, especially, yeah, like you said, going from Garage to C is pretty much a nightmare.
The only problem is that now we get a couple weird
Get out
buys
of my way.
coming into this next round. Ooh, Reprieve. Ooh, full blind. That was a deep flash from Instinct. Got the info necessary. Reprieve moving over now, watching sewer, but got spotted by the Trailblazer. Very tight angle. Ooh. Oh, Izire just ran straight across. He saw him. Now Reprieve has to get out of there. At least dodges the paranoia. Still sitting on the site, but now they're clumped up. Hod's gonna cover for him. Making this work. Gets 3 out of that. Are you kidding me, Ahad? Now Renz is the only one left standing. And, I mean, the second he walks into this op, he's done.
I have the spike.
Yeah, I mean, you get the spike, but what are you gonna do to hold this whole site? Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna try and go for the plant here.
Spike planted.
I mean, the second he does,
Scanning
they're just
ahead.
out onto the site. A recon dart at least gonna get him some info, but while he gets Royce, the player spotted. Big Popak had already worked his way forward. So Night Raid, they're gonna keep it close. We're still tied up. Now at 8-8.
Still tied up. Night Raid looking a little better this time around for the retake to happen, playing it very well. It was also, I mean, when we saw Reprieve, they were just not having a great game at the beginning. We also saw on this round specifically, we saw them getting spotted. the one to the other side, inside of A, and on top of that box. Also getting spotted with Sky, gets flashed. It was a complete nightmare for Night Raid, but at the end of the day, they were able to just play for their retake, going back, playing patiently, and Big Baller Brand, now they are the ones that need to get ahead.
And how much utility was invested so that
Yeah.
Big Baller Brand could try and take care of Reprieve, who didn't even die that round, by the way. Oh, Royce! Had him lined up. Good for 2 there. That's a great trade. And Reprieve still hanging around, watching for the player who's inevitably going to come out the smoke. An Owl Drone means he has to back off and just try to keep control of Long. But even if Big Baller Brand get onto the site here, okay, never mind. Now Sugar Free is taking him down. Now Big Baller Brand can get on comfortably. Question is how valuable is this lurk going to be from Ezire? Oh, Sugar Free! Out in the open, and Big Popek takes advantage. Ren's going to clean that up, though. Trade. We're in a 2 versus 2. Ezire's on the flank, but there's a longer flank from Ahad.
One enemy remaining.
Boy, Anthony, beautiful flick! Not even waiting on that one, and Ezire can't pin Soy Anthony down as he's fallen. 26 health. But Night Raid are going to reclaim their lead.
It is also getting predictable for Big Baller Brand on the attack. I mean, they keep going A, they keep doing the same things for the last couple of rounds. It has worked, so I understand why they're trying to do it. But it is really the time to change things up for Night Raid to not predict as much. I mean, they are holding this operator. It is working well. They're getting a couple kills. Even if Reprieve gets spotted early on, they're still able to get away with your life, and that is more than enough.
One more gun round here for Big Baller Brand before they run out of money. This time around, it's not going to be as heavy of an investment toward A. Still going to go toward it a little bit here. At least at the beginning. Sugar Free pushing up very deep into Long. And look, now it's a commitment. Big Baller Brand, they haven't actually gone for it. They've gotten the run it back out too. Just going to use smokes to get away safely. Sugar Free's hiding in the cubby. Royce, if he checks this, Sugar Free didn't get spotted at all.
That's so close.
They don't have to commit to this. Big Baller Brand, they've got 3 and the spike over towards C, but they don't have to run on here if they see something they don't like. Owl Drone spots 1, and the paranoia keeps them off. Sugar Free still has plenty of space towards A. Look at Ezire, too. He's cutting off these rotations through B. Can't get onto B because of the trap wire, though. Oh.
Yeah, you don't want to give him more information again.
Oh, Royce. Oh. Sugar Free. Oh, Ezire too. There goes all the map control that Big Baller Brand were working with. Oh, and Reprieve gets it even somewhat blind. Falling down. Looking for another. Spots the Omen at range and gets the 3rd. One last player standing, and Renz gets 1. Not nearly enough.
Big Baller Brand, they had a strategy. They made it work on the second half. But now, Night Raid, they caught up to that speed. So what is the solution? They were trying to play it slower. They were trying to make rotations in time. But also, I mean, it was just Night Raid doing the same thing. Playing it a little bit better, being able to connect those shots. And when you have Reprieve on this jet with the operator, an absolute nightmare to push into any site.
Cover going out.
Oh boy, Reprive's beating the smoke too. Oh, I'm actually going to be leaving. Big Popek gets caught. This is getting pretty rough here. Reprive's not able to find Squat. Oh, no. You have to clear that. You have to clear that, Cubby. Oh, it's going to be disastrous. Nobody knew. Oh, Ezire eventually puts an end to the madness, but 2 picks from that position. And Reprive's good for another. Now we're left in a 2v2. Sugar Free caught early by that Owl Drone. Has to retreat. And is spotted hopping over, too. They know exactly where he's standing. Flash from Royce. Doesn't quite hit him, though, and Ezire gets his as well. Big Baller Brand, that was a comedy of errors almost, but they wade through it and get the round.
And it was all about getting those picks first, because if the attacking team is going to go C, and you're able to pick up 2 early on, I mean, that's so much better so that the defense doesn't have as many angles to hold, and it does make it as difficult. Really good timing this time around. Big Baller Brand also catching up, looking a lot better, getting those kills. I mean, look at that. Sugar Free already with 20 kills, even when they're a little bit behind by 1 round.
So much available here for Night Raid in this critical round, though. Blade Storm's Reprieve is just aggressive with it, hiding inside the cyber cage too. Oh, Isai's got to be careful. Expects that Reprieve has been trying to push this though, and is just waiting patiently. Catches them both. Excellent work from Isai. He has been coming alive these last couple of rounds, and now with a neural theft, the defense has been exposed entirely. Royce caught out in long, and now there's nothing Night Raid can do to stop the plant at A.
All the information that Big Baller Brand was able to get so early on, it's really what's giving them. I mean, no one has died yet. The Cypher took a little bit of damage. We're still managing to stay alive, and Night Raid not gonna have the best time playing for this.
Look, while she was on the hunt, expected a save, was trying to get a couple of those guns away from Night Raid. I think a good amount of Big Baller Brand is just going to hold back, though. And I mean, with how far Night Raid were away, they've got to be saving this round. We're going to be tied up yet again, this time at 10-10.
Yeah, the second half has been all about just tying up and trying to catch up with the enemy, but we really haven't seen Big Baller Brand getting ahead by a lot. It's just been Night Raid, who are really trying to counter the strategies that Big Baller Brand tries to bring.
Baller Brand, they're trying to hunt down these players, but I don't think they're going to get either of those guns. Ooh.
Oh.
Big Topic spotted. He's just jumping. Just keep the bullets away from the head. Keep the bullets on my legs. My legs can take the punishment.
Yeah, just managing to stay alive in 10-10 again. Big Baller Brand, and both of the teams are actually able to full buy this time around, or kind of. But as long as they have Reprieve with the operator, I mean, this is the priority #1 they're going to have for any of these two teams. If Night Raid is able to keep their Jet alive, that is enough.
Ooh. This is an aggressive gambit here from Big Baller Brand. They're going hard and fast onto the A site. All the Seekers went elsewhere, and they assume that A is mostly clear, but 3 players, or actually 2 players, already over here. Royce just has a Sheriff, though. Already on Go Big Baller Brand. And Night Raid, I think they're going to mostly wait. There's no smoke in heaven, though. Smoke's coming over now, but not before Reprieve gets one. Does eventually get picked up. Instinct will trade that back. Here comes the Hunter's Fury to deny the spike plant. Soy Anthony doesn't seem like he's able to actually get an elimination out of that, though. Now the plant's going to go down without issue.
Spike planted.
Difficult retake here for Night Raid now. Keep in mind. Okay, actually, Royce has recovered a Phantom. What? What an insane shot from Royce. It's not going to get him all the way onto site, though, and a beautiful crossfire set up by Izire and Instinct. Ahad's left alone with an ob. Guys, where did my team go, guys? I thought we were gonna push. Oh, you're all dead. All right. I think it's op saving time.
Oh yeah, you just gotta save your operator, then there's nothing else that you can do. You're trying to get maybe a couple of those picks towards the end. Oh.
Tag. I think that was a wall bang technically, but
No.
Instinct ain't gonna let him get away with it. Big Baller Brand taking a lead after so long here on Haven.
Yeah, and I mean, the best thing that you can do there is just try to keep your operator, man. Just run away. I know you want to get that pick. I know you want to get more money for your team, but the operator, more than anything, is going to be very, very valuable, especially when Big Baller Brand are now, yeah, like I said, they are getting ahead.
Still one more gun round for Night Raid, though, but it basically all rests on this. Light armor across the board. If Night Raid lose this, then it'll be map point for Big Baller Brand, and Night Raid will be out of cash. Playing for the orb. Reprieve hasn't done this yet. I don't think there's any way that Big Baller Brand are expecting that. Look at him. He already got Instinct. That's a huge pickup. He's dashing out to try and get away safely. Sugar Free's going to pick up his buddy, though. Ultimately, it's a trade 1-for-1. Difference is, though, I mean, Big Baller Brand still have a Sova, right? They lost their Sky, but they have information available to them. Whereas now it's lights out, basically, for Night Raid. They don't know what's going on anywhere on the map.
I mean, they're trying to know something with the Cypher, but not really getting a lot of information there. So Big Baller Brand definitely just taking that advantage.
Oh, if this timing works out right, Big Baller Brand can just walk onto A. There goes the recon dart in. It does spot Royce toward the back of the site. A Hunter's Fury going to come out right afterwards. Gets rid of the run it back there from Royce. And gets a tag on him once he bounces back, too. So he's got to heal up. Going to be pretty low for this entry. I guess it's better low than dead. Use the run it back to save himself. Reprieve. Ah, caught it just the worst time there. Now the rest of Night Raid just has to funnel themselves through this doorway where their crossfire from 3 angles is waiting. Royce knows what's going on now. It's a 1v3. To go for the clutch or to go for the save, that is the question. Royce right there, Sugar Free, falling down. The angel of death descending from the heavens. And now it's Big Baller Brand's map point.
And it's already match point. I mean, we've seen this slow progress between the two teams trying to get ahead until this moment, until this match point where Big Baller Brand, they need 1 more to go, when Night Raid, they need 3. And it's really not looking good. They're losing that momentum. They lost the last 4 rounds, and not to mention the first 3 in the second half. Their economy, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it.
It's in shambles. Night Raid, after a 6-0 start, would now need a miracle to actually walk away with their map pick. And look, Big Baller Brand, they know. They're gearing up for that hit. But they realize there's more players there than they want to deal with. And there's plenty of time. No reason to risk it all on a hasty execute into a ton of players on C. Instead, they're going to just spread out back across the map and look to find a weakness.
Oh, and do you want to deal with a lot of players in C or with the Jet on A?
I mean, I'll take the 1 player on A any day of the week, Triad. I'm gonna be honest, especially since Sugar Free can just run Reprieve down with the knives, having to use a dash to get out of the way. Reprieve. That smoke's gonna make it very difficult too. They're clearing out the smoke. They thought, well, she might go for something cheeky. This is such a difficult retake now for Night Raid. All they have is a neural theft. That's not very helpful in this scenario at all. Nice owl drone, at least, coming out from heaven. Gives them info on 1, but there's 4 other players to try and pin down. Renz does fall. A nice flash gets him out. Royce with a gun, able to get 1, but still 1 holding down the site. Welshi alone now on site, but still able to make it happen. It's all down to him. It's all down to him. And the right click comes through. Finishes it off. And that's map 1 over to Big Baller Brand.
At least 1 more to go, but Big Baller Brand, what a comeback that we saw on that second half when they were attacking. It's just attacking New Haven is so strong. You're able to decide when to go, where to rotate with the entirety of your team, while when you're on defense, you're just hoping that they're going to be on the side where you have the most members when you have 2 or 3, or you're forced to play into the retake. But an amazing job for the Big Baller Brand. It's a comeback that doesn't happen very often.
Down 6 rounds at the start.
Yeah.
That is noteworthy, to be sure. And credit to their composition as well. Big Baller Brand, you know, we said at the top, you know, they have this information-heavy comp. They've got the Cypher. You could see it wasn't just a defensive Cypher either. Isaiah was going forward and getting as much value out of every single cam he had. It was going deep into mid, deep into A every time. And then they played around the Sky and the Sova very well, setting up players like Sugar Free and Instinct to take control of the game. We're going to go to a quick break, folks. When we come back, it's going to be map number 2. We head over to, I believe, Ascent. Yes, it'll be Ascent after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody, to the quarterfinals here in the NorQuest Esports Series Valorant Champions Division. Presented to you, of course, by NorQuest College. A college who, my eyes just gave out for a second there. That was fun. This educational institution proudly serves over 19,000 learners from the Edmonton region and around the world. For more information on NorQuest College, make sure you check out their exciting programs at www.norquest.ca. We're moving on into map 2, Dryad. Map 1 was a hefty comeback from Big Baller Brand, who started 0-6, but ended up winning 13-10.
And yeah, we talked about it. An amazing comeback happening for Big Baller Brand, who now both of the teams they're jumping into Ascend, a very, very standard map for Valorant, and also just bringing a lot of those standard agents that we would expect. Both of the Jets already locked.
Yeah, no surprises from these two. Sugar Free and Reprieve, they felt like they were going head to head so many times on Haven, and it went pretty even, I gotta say. Both Jets playing very well. And as we move on to Ascent, another map that's very op heavy, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, absolutely no surprises here. I'm excited to see the Astra. I feel like we haven't really seen much of this agent today,
Choose your agent.
but it's so fun. Including, the Killjoy too. A lot of very, very interesting picks coming through for the side of the defense is going to start with this Big Baller Brand, who they are, having the lockdown, having the Sova as well for the information, plays so well to sort of a good defense.
And Astra on Ascent especially, right? It's more narrow than Haven was, right? So you can really use those gravity wells to the best of your ability, lock down an attacking team, especially if they try and get anything funky over in A main or B main, even up through Cubby, right? So I like Welshi switching over to this. A little bit more difficult to use, obviously, the Astra, compared to something like the Omen. And the Omen still offers smokes across the map, rather, just like Astra does. We're gonna have to keep our eye on the effectiveness of this Astra. I always like seeing Astra play.
Yeah, I like seeing it being played, especially when you're starting on a defense. You have those smokes to come through, and you also make it a little bit more difficult for the attackers to be able to plan if you're able to land those abilities correctly. So Big Baller Brand, they're looking forward to just get this 2-0, get it over with. But I mean,
they've had a long day, right? This is the 7th map of Valorant that both these teams will have played. Big Baller Brand are hoping to lock it up in 7, and that they don't have to go to 8. Already a pretty heavy stack toward B main too, which is exactly where they need to be. Night Raid already out. Reprieve trades 1 for 1, but Ren's doing a good job of keeping it locked down. Night Raid trying to sneak into the site, but they're having a hard time getting rid of Ezire. Finally, they managed to do so, but only Big Popik stands, and he doesn't stand for very long.
You blink and it's over. I mean, the defense already taking the advantage. It was a strategy, at least, for the attackers, for Night Raid to see if it was going to be effective, but Big Baller Brand, if they were able to keep that momentum from the last round or from the last map on that second half, and that is exactly what they were asking for. And yeah, they've had a long day of Valorant. Night Raid, they have to accept that even if they win this map, they have one more to go.
It is certainly a test of endurance, a marathon rather than a sprint for Night Raid at this point. Sugar Free, he's looking to get it over with, though. Look at this push. Already up through B main. Ooh! Popik over on the other side. Hello. All right. Eventually, Ezire will clean that up. But presumably, that's a couple of guns that have been dropped out that Night Raid can just waltz over and recover. If he's going to try and punish him for that. He's spotted, though, and doesn't expect Ahad to be waiting right there for him. Big Baller Brand, it seems like they may have gotten a little bit too big for their britches here. And now it's up to Ezire and Welshi to come up with a miracle. Welshi gets the first, but his position is undoubtedly compromised at this point. And yeah, there he goes. Ezire's the only one left standing. 1v2, though, still very winnable.
Spike planted.
Still winnable, Big Baller Brand. Only the Killjoy remaining. You might be able to use those storm grenades, just trying to make something happen, trying to delay that defuse at least happening from Night Raid. But still, being the only one remaining on site, a little bit of a nightmare.
Who he gets contact with here is going to matter a lot. Because if he can take out the Sage first, the one with the higher health, then the second fight becomes easier to win. But we're running out of time for Ezire. Gonna put the turret down. Try and spot them for hell. It pulls the aggro off one, and he gets the sage first. There it is. And he's gonna walk over with, I believe, just enough time to defuse. And keep a second round on the board for Big Baller Brand.
Just in time, and there it is, the clutch. You haven't seen that many of those clutches happening today, but when we see them, they're absolutely insane. For Big Baller Brand, this is a completely different start from what we saw on the last map in Haven, where they were down by 6 rounds, and this time around, they're the ones starting with the victory. They're the ones with the better economy.
I'm gonna say it again. I feel like somewhere around like round 10 on Haven, Izire like flipped the switch in his head. The dude has been crazy on a lot of these rounds, constantly pulling off big plays like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it,
Yeah.
Dryad.
It is so fun to see. I mean,
Oh.
oh.
Surprised, like, am I seeing things? Oh, I just saw a jet on this corner. No, it was really there. Let me just wipe my eyes for a sec. Waiting too. Expected Sugar Free to try and push that back. Good work from Reprieve. A lot of utility to try and get through here for Night Raid right now. They're really gonna try and hard force through tree. They get the nanostorms out, the gravity well too. But they know that the rotations must have already come through at that point, and they still have plenty of time to work up through mid and hit on to B.
Playing it slower for Night Raid, they realized the fast push that they did before wasn't really effective.
Izare's in a tricky spot here.
30 seconds.
Caused quite a bit of damage and already caught Soy Anthony. Big pop back falls as well. That is a great little backstab there from Izire, catching Night Raid as they go for that push. Well, she's good for 1, make it 2.
Down, B.
And now so far from the spike, so far from the site. I think Ahad's just going to have to save.
10 seconds left.
But will they though? They might be hungry for a couple kills. They might try to do it. And it wouldn't be the first time that we see such aggression from Night Raid. Yeah, trying to save. Not the best spot to do so though.
He's fine. Still though, that's 3 in a row now. And Night Raid, it feels like they're on the other end of what they did to Big Baller Brand on Haven, right? They just lost their gun round, their first one against the bonus, a fractured bonus from Big Baller Brand too. They're gonna be out of money now. Yeah, Night Raid, that Vandal is the only thing they're gonna have going for them here. And even if they get a ton of kills, it's not enough to stop Big Baller Brand's momentum.
It's also Isar now with this killjoy, getting so many kills, always being the last one to be able to get them and to give the opportunity to their team again. It's really helping out in this first round.
Blocking vision.
Look how timid Night Raid are, and as they have every right to be timid, especially when Sugar Free pulls off stuff like that. He's just out of there. Big Popek's gonna try and see. Maybe Sugar Free was hanging around, still in pizza, but there's nobody home. And this is so difficult now for Night Raid, right? I mean, they lost their chance at that one pick. The first pick that was going to be probably the easiest to secure, where Sugar Free was maybe extending a little bit ambitiously. Now they're going to try and take this mid control, convert it through tree, but they have so much utility, so many guns and bullets flying at them from there as well. And then Big Baller Brand just finished it off. Yeah, just an eco round. Not much Night Raid was expected to do there in the first place. But you can see how Big Baller Brand are just starting to control everything.
Looking very similar to the last map, but with the big difference here is the teams that are getting ahead. This time around, Big Baller Brand with also a couple ultimates to use. They have the Lockdown. They also have the Hunter's Fury. Ultimates that are very good to use early on or when they are holding those sites. So big opportunity here. I think from the shadows is going to be more difficult for Night Raid to use effectively. Maybe just to get some intel.
Ooh. Oh, that flash actually caught Sugar Free there. Hunter's Fury coming out though, and that's gonna tag at least a couple. Easy pickup. Big Baller Brand. They are done with Valorant today. They want to go home. They want to take a nap. They're looking to clean this up fast. This was such a critical gun round for Night Raid. But they can't find any footing, Dryad.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, they're just going in. They're getting those picks. I mean, even with the Hunter Fury coming through, Sugar Free wanted to guarantee those kills at the end. That is exactly what happens. Repri trying to also get that. But once again, only the Killjoy left.
I think there's a technical term in Valorant for a game that's going this way. I think it's called a big oof.
Yeah.
I believe that's the technical term right now. At least that's what I expect Night Raid to be saying.
It's just tough. I mean, you lose a lot of your momentum and your positive mentality, knowing that you have to win 2 of those maps in a row, and it gets very exhausting for teams. They were doing so good. When you completely lose your momentum on that last map, completely, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not the best thing to keep going with.
Night Raid, they're going to try what got them off to such a hot start on Haven. Their executes, their hard hits onto sites were very clean, but keep in mind, the only thing they really have in terms of functional weapons is that Blade Storm. And the Blade Storm is just completely avoided. Soy Anthony finds one, but nothing else goes right here. Prive coming around is able to get a couple, and suddenly Night Raid are back in the swing of things. Sugar Free's got to be careful. He doesn't know where Reprive's going to come at him from next. Tagged by the Owl Drone, this makes it difficult. Reprive not there on the timing, going up into the air, but Sugar Free's ready, and well, she comes around to save him from Soy Anthony.
Oh, Sugar Free is looking so good now. How many rounds we've seen now where he's able to get those 3 kills, if not more? I mean, Sugar Free now, it's the exact same scenario. Okay, now if they're going to play to the script, now is gonna be Night Raid's game to win. It's gonna be at least looking similar on this round. Both of them being able to full buy after that save from Night Raid before. But Big Baller Brand, yeah, like you said, they're ready to finish. They're ready to get this done with.
Look at the aggression. Look, there's no respect here from Big Baller Brand. Oh, man, they know that they are winning this game. They found the spike already. I think that is the most tragic thing that could have happened at the start of this round for Night Raid. Aside from, like, all of them dying instantly.
Absolutely. I mean, they lost the spike too. They were able to get it back, but...
At least there's a res, too.
Yeah.
Just waiting. Look, they know exactly where they are. Just spamming through now. Welsh ready to swing on out. Oh, gotta be careful. There is a turret there. Sugar Free on the long angle, though. Nobody knows he's even there. Welsh just taking that contact. Yeah, the turret's gonna finish him off, but Sugar Free is just charging forward. Suddenly it's a 1v2, though. If Reprive can get away, he can still make it happen, but no. Renz finds him, puts a bullet in the back of his head.
Oh, it's just not enough. Big Baller Brand, it seems like that first half that we saw earlier, that was just their warm-up. Now, they're absolutely on fire. 7-0 here in Ascend, and they do not want to stop. They're pushing them, they're playing aggressive, they're getting those kills, they're using their ultimate early on, like we saw that Blade Storm coming through and getting those kills. This is not something that anyone can do. I mean, look at that. The top 3 players, all with 9 kills.
The stark difference in confidence for Big Baller Brand on their own map pick compared to Night Raid's map pick.
Yeah.
is just insane.
Yeah, and also being able to build that confidence on a map that they didn't pick, especially towards the end, it's not easy to do. But they do it so perfectly. They are ready to get this done with. I wonder how many rounds they are able to get away with without giving Night Raid a single one.
I like that Big Baller Brand, though, are willing to pace it back, right? They're not just throwing themselves willy-nilly at the enemy every single round. They're using it sparsely and then finding the perfect timings to swing out and decimate Night Raid. That's 2 more picks for Big Baller Brand. It's 4v2 now. Renz is in a beautiful position.
Down mid.
Okay. Well, that flash was maybe unfortunate as he was trying to turn his own teammate's flash and then swung out wrong angle, but the result is still the same. It's still 8-0.
It's still 8-0 and Big Baller Brand, yeah. They're able to know when to play aggressive, when to bring that very, very aggressive defense, but also when to play more carefully like we saw. Once they get some intel, once they get some information through the Soba, or even through the Killjoy. Now this when they push, they also use that Sky. So they have a lot of information. They're able to play as aggressive or as passive as they want, and it's really paying off.
You know, I've seen a lot of characters use the Odin over toward B main. Only Baby Bay has pulled out the Odin on Jet. So I like to see Sugar Free doing that too. I think Baby Bay is smiling somewhere right now, and he doesn't quite know why. The Odin does get tossed over, I think, to Renz. Or maybe there's just 2 Odins. I wouldn't be surprised at that either, honestly. Well, she's going to find one, and I mean, the lockdown put in a place where the Odin can just spam it away, right? Straight through the wall. Well, she's not even giving them an inch. Look at the confidence, Renz. He's just running forward. He's a madman right now, and he knows he can be. Swing from instinct to clean it up. And Big Baller Brand not giving Night Raid an inch.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned Baby Bay, because so when we saw Big Baller Brand playing so aggressive, I was just thinking of FaZe Clan and how aggressive they like to be sometimes. It just gave me those vibes. It gave me that flashback to seeing FaZe Clan playing so aggressive and always being able to get away with it. It's so fun because it is not very expected by a lot of teams. And yeah, the thing about Big Baller Brand is that they know when to play that aggressiveness and when to play a little bit more passive, when to play more careful. But overall, I mean, the confidence for Night Raid completely shattered.
You know what we call this kind of aggression, Ryad? That's ex-Overwatch player solidarity right there.
Yep.
Oh boy. And then on top, it's blown up. It's a freight train right now, crashing into Night Raid. Finally, Night Raid. Well, never mind. I was gonna say finally Night Raid. They've made it a 3v2, but doesn't really look like that's the case at all. No, it's a 3v0. It's a 10-0.
Bot coming back.
Oh no. I mean, and what do you do if you're Night Raid? I mean, not only your economy is constantly shattered, but your mental. I mean, I'm just worried about the mental of these players. They started so good first map, looking good at the beginning, getting that victory, getting ahead, then completely losing the map, going to second map thinking that is winnable. It is definitely not looking winnable for them.
Look, Night Raid, their mental's far stronger than mine, I'll tell you that much. They've played through 7 maps of Valorant today. I can rarely do that on a good day. But 10-0. I think even the most iron of wills would be cracking at this point. Big Baller Brand.
Spike down mid.
It's just seamless. It's seamless. They just win every fight.
Last round before
I mean,
the switch.
they're just having fun at this point. They're just they're not worried about their economy. They're not worried about their positioning. They decide if they want to go fast, if they want to play it slower, and they make it happen every single time.
I'm shocked we don't see 5 Odins here. I'm gonna be honest. I am shocked that we do not have 5 Odins on the board right now for Big Baller Brand. And that just shows they have
That's how you survive.
just a little bit more respect than I would have in a game like. If I was playing like ranked and it was 11-0, I'm buying Odins every single round. This is insane. Although Sugar Free, he doesn't need an Odin, dude. He just charges right out. 12-0.
No, I would be in shambles right now. Night Raid just definitely not enjoying this map at all. Definitely realizing that. I mean, maybe it would have been different if they started with this map and then went into Haven. Maybe things could have worked out differently, but it's already match point, and Night Raid, they just haven't gotten anything.
I think we are seeing the true potential of Big Baller Brand at this point too, right? Even just mechanically. The synchronization on a lot of these pushes is almost flawless. The way they charge forward. And charge forward they shall. It's going to be a heavy hit onto A here. One last chance for Night Raid to stay in the NorQuest.
Oh.
Reprieve dying first isn't a great start. It seems like at least one of the nano swarms was cleared too. That second one will force Sugar Free away. Hod trying to take pot shots will actually claim
Spike
instinct
planted.
off of a well-placed headshot there. Popback's gotta be
So
careful.
low.
Gonna try and run down Welshi. I believe that paranoia goes wide. Right clicks won't though. Land perfect. So does Ren's shots though. That Sheriff, excellently done. 2 players remaining on either side. 1 low health each. Royce will dispense of Sugar Free, but Izar cleans up the other low health member, and he's still got light armor. Still a frenzy. Knows where Royce is now too. 25 health. And a nano swarm. Oh, that's brutal.
No.
Royce thought he had an opening, but now he's going to have to try and stick it. And no dice. A 13-0 flawless second map for Big Baller Brand to finish off and head their way into the semifinals.
No 1 round given to the side of Night Raid on Ascend. What an absolute domination that we saw from Big Baller Brand. They looked insane every single time. I think every single player had some very good highlight moments there.
I mean, what do you even say at that point?
Yeah.
Right? Big Baller Brand. I can't think of a legitimate criticism I could levy against Big Baller Brand at this point, right? On the second map, at least, Izar looked like he was having a fire of a game after the first half of Haven. Instinct and Sugar Free were on from start to finish, and Welshi and Ren's doing a very good job of supporting and enabling them. You know, the smokes, recon darts, those things are sometimes overlooked, but can't be, right? Not when you're playing teams as good as Big Baller Brand.
Yeah, and you really can't afford to make any sort of mistakes. The minute that Big Baller Brand got the momentum going, they didn't let it go. They played with the mental of the enemy team, and I like the approach that they took on that first map. So passive, so calm, just playing it very carefully. And then second map, that is not the same team playing.
It does feel
Perfect.
like map 1 is more of an accurate approximation of these two teams, right? Or the relative power level.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes one hell of a Jet player to go basically 1-for-1 with Sugar Free. Reprieve, all of that first map was fighting even with Sugar Free. Gotta give shout outs to Royce, to Ahad. I thought they had great games. Just at the end of the day, it's Big Baller Brand walking out of it. They'll go on to the semifinals. I am updating my bracket now to see if we have any conclusions on any of the other matches. We do. DNA Diff have 2-0'd Black Frost Gaming, who we saw earlier on. So we say goodbye to Black Frost and Night Raid. Still waiting on results on the other side of the bracket to see what our other semifinal will look like. But I'm excited. We get to go into tomorrow. Big Baller Brand DNA Diff is going to be one heck of a game, but so is, I mean, whoever comes out of 303 Bay versus Synergy Ancients. I mean, that's going to be that. Tomorrow is such a good day of Valorant. Today's been such a good day of Valorant. This has been a great series, a great tournament.
Yeah, and it started, I mean, from the beginning, we had some very, very nice matches going on, all the way, I mean, until the end, which, the odds that in a tournament like this we see a 13-0 are not very likely, but Big Baller Brand, they made it possible, and that leaves us with very, very high expectations for what this team is going to do tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see them tomorrow.